When you talk about the movie, one of the most important elements of it is the music. And the job that Alan Silvestri did in creating the Back to the Future theme and then taking us through all of these different time periods was extraordinary.
I think he brought an incredible amount of drive and excitement. He really pushed the movie around, and his score I thought was so original.
I need big, and that was, it was very clear to me then what the job was. He had to have big. So I went off into my corner and just started doing big.
Back to the Future was only the second movie that Al and I ever did together. And we knew what we didn't want. We didn't want it to be a rock and roll score, because that was going to be underscored in the body of the movie itself. We didn't want it to be a synthesized score. I remember that. We said we don't want it to be electronic, which was very, very popular at the time in the 80s. Everybody was doing scores on the box, we're doing it on the box. So I guess it grew more out of what we knew we didn't want to have. I think we talked about it being, something that had to be in the vein of the traditional adventure stories.
It was interesting because the schedule was so tight and Bob had so many things to be doing that the first day of scoring, unlike anything I've ever done before, Bob nor anyone else had heard one note of anything. Nothing. Not a theme, no whistling on the phone, nothing.
And the orchestra that Al put together, it's like 80, 85 pieces, huge. And when I started hearing this, it was just phenomenal. It absolutely is a musical journey. Al, again, he scored this thing traditionally with the way that you would have a main theme and sub-themes and themes associated with different characters. You had the Doc Brown theme that also evoked time and the clock, the tick-tock mechanism.
The molecular structure of both Einstein and the car are completely intact.
He was really thinking seriously about who the characters were, what musical motifs would sound like it, and then to go into the sequels and use the basis of the themes that he created for the first movie and build on them, do variations on them, and man, he just nailed it.
I was being chased by all these Indians and a bear.
Well, you're safe and sound here now at the McFly farm.
McFly farm? Ah!
Huey Lewis was Bob Z's idea.
Zemeckis didn't tell me I was going to sell more records.
Bob was a huge Huey Lewis fan, and he said, let's see if we can get a Huey. And Huey was all enthusiastic and thrilled.
That's great, Michael. That looks totally realistic.
Good.
Really, completely.
And when he's moving real fast,
it's better than us when we lip sync. It's compelling.
And certainly, Huey loved the idea that you're just too darn loud. He loved that.
Hold it, fellas. I'm afraid you're just too darn loud.
Bringing in Huey Lewis in the News at the time we were all so excited about that, because that was a very, very popular group at the time, and he also contributed some real signature music that I think is very much today still identified with these movies.
That's the power of love. That's the power of love.
Bob's a huge ZZ Top fan, and that was his idea to put them in there. And of course, they didn't need any kind of makeup to appear in the Old West.
Boom, 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 boom.
And they were such terrific guys. One of the most fun evenings was when they were there on the set, and in between takes, they would just start jamming with the local musicians that were there, who were playing the fiddles and all the other stuff in that band. And they were just happy to be playing music. They were happy to be there. It was just great.